Hey, Lana, how are you?
Good. Hey, Rebecca. How are you? I see you're on the West Coast, right? You got up early for
I
this
know, got up
one,
early, early,
girl.
early. Yeah, I'm excited. Where you at this week? Where you at?
Oh my goodness. So, I know one of the things that we always talk about is our skin and the stuff that we're going through and noticing as we get older. And today we're going to be speaking with Melani Chong, who is an expert on skincare. She was a model. I've known her for many years. She's been in the fashion industry for more than 30 years and is now a cosmetics scientist and skincare formulator. She consults on brand development and consumer products for many international clients. And, we're going to get her to spill the tea.
Right. Okay. And the other thing I find super interesting about Melanie is that she actually went back to school. She did a post grad at MIT, which to me is super impressive, right? And she's recently been offered a seat at the Harvard Medical Healthcare Leadership Program for 2024. So let's see what Melanie has to say about what's going on with our skin in our middle years.
We've known each other for so long within the fashion industry as models, and our face, this is how we this is our moneymaker, right? This is how we paid our bills. So, I had a small skincare line. Certainly I am not a scientist. But that's why I got into it. That's why skincare was so important to me, because if this didn't look good, I wasn't getting paid. So, we were wondering, like, what was your kind of impetus? What was the thought process behind you getting into skincare formulation?
Well, it's a similar transitional story for me where when I was modeling and I got pregnant with my first son, I thought to myself, I looked at my family's genetics and I thought, my God, I'm never going to model again because my mother had a different body type than I did. And I thought, you know what, it's going to be a challenge for me. I'm going to have to pick up on something that is going to be my backup. And I thought, with the experience that I had, like, taking care of our skin, you're kind of skin obsessed because it's your moneymaker, it's your face
Exactly.
forward. So I kind of felt like it was a natural transition for me to formulate and come up with something that I was already a little bit versed in. And I went back to school. So yeah, it all happened when I thought that I wasn't going to be able to model again. And so I came up with these like really simple products for the body based on the natural ingredients that I used and that worked for me as I traveled around the world. And lots of advice from,
Exactly.
people who kind of become your surrogate mothers as you're traveling.
So, Melanie, did you find, like, when you're talking about travel, and Lana, you can speak to this as well, do you find that keeping a routine, sort of sticking to that routine, is just so important? Or is it okay to be switching up and taking all these little beauty samples all the time and just throwing whatever on your face?
I think when it comes to routine is good, but it's not always necessarily sticking to the exact same products all the time. I think it's probably really healthy for our skin to switch it up and to allow it to flourish on its own. We have something on our skin called the microbiome, which is our natural bacteria that helps to fight virus,
The
acne.
microbiome.
Yeah, the microbiome is really important. And it's also a hot topic now because people are learning so much more about their own microbiome, especially after COVID, and how we can help nurture that. And by using the same cleansers that are harsh and stripping away your natural microbiome, you might be doing more damage than good when it comes to that type of practice. Routine, as in cleansing your skin, nourishing your skin, and protecting your skin, absolutely. But it's okay, and I would actually recommend to switch it up every once in a while.
As we age, there's so many things that affect our skin. So, some things are more age related and some are more hormonal related. And I think my personal concern is more hormonal related, which is, so just like, how does that affect you? Like, I have this terrible melasma. I know some people get adult acne, or maybe it's rosacea, but like, is there something we can change? What should we be doing to maybe more neutralize this effect? Because I was mentioning to Rebecca earlier, I did not sign up for a mustache in my older life, and so now, like, every day I put makeup on it, and that's kind of boring, right? Can I get rid of it? Like, what can we do for, or even the age spots?
Yeah, super loaded question there because for sure, I mean,
We did not
Tread
ask you
lightly.
here to make it easy. No.
no, of course. As women, we go through so many transitions in our skin. Like we have puberty, then we have pregnancy, then we have postpartum, and then we have environmental stressors. We have the sun. We have um, emotional stressors, which a lot of people need to remember that it affects our skin greatly. So, going back to the cleansing, nourishing, protecting, all of those things need to evolve as we get older. Like if we go back to the hair on our face, there's a purpose for it. And when we go back to the microbiome, our hair grows out of the pores that basically are kind of like the cleansing troughs of our skin. And those hairs are there to collect and distribute the different oils, bacterias, and sebum on our face that are always finely adjusting and fine tuning our microbiome, our pH balance, our oil balance, and protecting us from certain environmental allergens. So once we start removing that, we're asking a lot from our skin to start to perform the way that it's supposed to, but you're taking off some of its appendages. So has our skin has definitely evolved. The need for skincare has truly evolved because of, just like you said, removing hair on our face. And that's a whole other topic that you can talk about. But it definitely affects the microbiome. And it also can affect the exposure to UV, which then in turn can be a factor in your melasma or hyperpigmentation in your skin.
And then how much of melasma is just like hormonal, age related? Like, because this, there's women that get this from aging or from whatever, but like certainly the age spots that appear on your face, like, can you actually do anything about that? Are your hormones so changed that there's nothing you can do about it? Do your hormones really affect like how what goes on your face?
Absolutely. Your hormones definitely are major players in what happens in your face, as well as the progress of melasma and hyperpigmentation. Although it's not the only factor, it's like orchestration of maybe
Right.
once
Okay.
when you were younger, you got exposure to something on your skin due to UV exposure. It could be many things. And then you might get, a little spot 10, 15, 20, maybe even 30 years later. So it's really kind of
All
hard
that
to
time in the
determine.
sunshine.
Yeah, the sun definitely has a lot to do with it. And interestingly enough, it's, other UV rays and laser procedures that help to remove that. So in addressing your question about what can we do, I think that one of the best preventative measures is just covering up your skin, which we didn't do that in our teens and 20s.
Are you telling me, Melanie, like in terms of environment, now that my hormones are shifting, just no sun at all? Or
I think a dermatologist would say to avoid the sun, but then again, the sun is a part of our own growth factor and our skin's evolution as well, because it helps us to produce vitamin D within our body. So we do need some
Mhm.
exposure. It's really hard to say because, again, this day and age, the atmosphere is way more different than it was even just 20, 40 years ago, which is a super short period of time.
Absolutely.
Um, in the course of history, you just never know. So I think it's best to, as a safe precaution, to just limit your sun exposure to healthy times to go out for you and based on your history.
right. And you're making me realize that we're talking about, our lifespan and, coming up the lifespan as it sort of continues on for many, many years
Right.
past what it used to do. I think that sun and sun damage is cumulative, right? So, now I'm in my 50s. Well, there was a time where I would be, definitely in considered old age, but I'm planning to live to 100. So, I need to I need to protect because it's the largest organ in my
It's
body.
true.
Is that true?
It's true.
My skin?
It's the largest organ, and it
Yeah.
affects
I love that.
the capabilities of every other organ internally. So
Well, I guess, that's the other question. If you're planning to live that long, Rebecca, what factors are going to present themselves that are really just age related? with our skin, because hormonally, we
Yeah.
were just talking about melasma or other things that might come up. But like, what things are purely age related? Like, is our skin going to end up looking like crepe paper? Are we ever going to have any elasticity? Is it just going to be, we're going to be drawn and look like the Crypt Keeper or something? Like, what?
Well,
Because how do I keep it plump and moist?
Well, there's definitely some actives that you can use during the periods of pre-perimenopausal, so probably within your late 30s and 40s. Stick to these well-developed actives nowadays, which is vitamin C, niacinamide, retinols. As far as retinols go, which are super popular right now, they're not always effective for sensitive skin. And nowadays, there is a new, more natural and softer version called bakuchiol. Those are a few of the actives that you can use during perimenopause to help decrease the effects of menopausal skin.
Coming from where you're at, background in beauty, fashion, beauty as a model, and now with the science background, what are can you give us 3 or 4 concrete things that every woman in her 50s and 60s should be doing to sort of set her skin up to be, its best self possible as we move forward, right?
I think when it comes to the care of our skin, there's an emotional investment that we make towards the care of our skin. And then there's that physical, practical investment that we make. So if we talk about the practical investments we want to make in our skin during this period, during menopause, we have a loss of collagen, loss of estrogen. So that results in dry, itchy skin. Some things that you can't control. The loss of collagen in your skin is up to 30% over potentially 2 to 5 years. And you can definitely avoid rapid loss by using a hyaluronic acid and a niacinamide in your skincare regime. And then when it comes to that emotional investment that we have in our skin, I think, during these years, we are so much more confident in ourselves. In your 40s, you just start to give less cares about what people say about older women, about what we're supposed to look like, because our skin does lose its elasticity. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how much you protect your skin. It's going to happen, and it's happening. So putting, wrinkles, putting a value on wrinkles because you have them, it devalues the type of woman that you are, I think is an emotional investment that we need to alter within ourselves, is to say, you know what, if we have a wrinkle, we earned those things. We earned those laugh lines because you lived, right? If you had a sunspot because you used to be a diver and you were out in the sun, you know what, you lived. So we have to start taking away those conventional stigmas surrounding women's aging. And I think that is a huge investment, that we need to make in ourselves.
One of the things that, Rebecca and I were talking earlier about, like, all of these kind of tools and stuff, like, do these, I'm a lazy person. I'm lucky I have good genetics. Yeah, she likes the balls in her face. One. I don't have that one.
Lana, be nice, be polite. It's called
I want to get one, but I was kind of cheap, so I just did the roller. I have a gua sha somewhere, and this, this one with the little pokey bits that, like, do they actually work? Do these things add to it? Or is it just a scam for people? Because people, like you said, it's an emotional component to getting older. And because the societal stigma against women aging and wrinkles, and it's always anti-aging, which I think is so wrong. It should be pro-aging. But, are we just really wasting our money on these things? Or does even the fact that it offers us some kind of panacea or placebo effect, is that actually going to help us?
Well, they're not placebo. These tools are ancient tools that have been developed for detoxifying your skin. So for sure, in whatever shape, color, and form they come in, it's a tool for detoxifying the lymphatic drainage of your skin. I love it, by the way. Those are hilarious. They're so phallic.
Oh my God.
They're legitimate tools to assist with the lymphatic drainage. in your neck, which definitely helps with releasing toxins that may be backed up in your skin. So it's a super healthy practice. And don't forget, everything that's down here in your neck also flows down to your underarms as well. So you can actually um, include your neck, your décolletage, and your underarms as part of your skincare routine.
Have you got any hacks, Melanie? And Ilana, you can probably speak to this too. You guys have traveled all over the world. You have had your, hair and makeup done by, the top people. You have been in this industry. Have you guys gotten any hacks as you've gone along from different cultures?
Well, I guess for me, hacks, like, we were just mentioning, like, I tend to go the natural route. I did start using facial oils very early. Like, it's only been a trend here, for the last 8 years, 7 years. I was using facial oils certainly at like 21 when I was in Paris, because that was, Clarence did all that stuff. So I have been a big believer in facial oil. I started using serums about 20 years ago. And I know that serums, you were saying like hyaluronic acid and the retinol, niacinamide, the serums the actives are much stronger and much more potent in the serums. So for me, I started doing skincare in that way long before it became trendy over here, simply because I was always, in Europe.
Yeah, some of the things that I grew up with, like that my mother taught me, was to use lemon juice, like straight from a lemon. And a funny thing that she used to do is whenever she was cutting up a lemon or squeezing a lemon, I would see her just go like this on her face. And then she would say to me, like, smell it. And then she would touch it on my face. And just the tiny little bits of lemon juice and lemon oil from the lemon skin would just have some sort of effect. And so later on, when I had any acne or anything like that, my mom would say, squeeze some lemon on a cotton swab and just put it on the spot. And it always worked. I wasn't super acne prone, so I can't really speak to whether or not that would work for other individuals. Another hack that my gained from my mother and all my aunties and my grandmother was slugging. We used to use Vaseline and petroleum jelly on our skin. So if I ever had a sunburn or dry skin or anything like that, my mom used to slather Vaseline all over either your body or all over my face, even in my hair. And the next day I would wake up and it was perfectly smooth. Obviously there are different conditions surrounding whether or not you use petroleum jelly, if you have oily skin or if you're prone to anything, but it's really one of the purest products that you can find on the market. It's the cleanest product that you can use. There's no smell, there's no allergens, and it really does help with wrinkles.
I know that you've got a skincare line. So can you speak to what was most important to you when developing that? Because I would assume, you sort of thought, okay, there's certain products, there's certain ingredients that I really want. And this is what I know. You've got a serum, for example. So what were you thinking when you were starting the skincare line? What was most important? What did you want to get out there?
A few factors in developing the skincare line was multifunctioning, simplicity, efficacy, and that all of the ingredients were ethically sourced. So and all of those ingredients that we talked about were literally the basis for a streamlined collection of products for women and men to use that were effective. So the vitamin C, the hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, and other botanical extracts that are known to be effective were the basis. And then I wanted to create a matrix of skin conditions that all of these things could interplay. So if you wanted to buy one serum, you could use that for as long as you wanted and it would be effective. If you wanted to switch between that one and your next favorite serum, which would maybe be the mushroom-based serum that uses Ganoderma mushrooms that are amazing for fighting free radicals in your skin, or if you were really intrigued by the Orchis serum, which is made from upcycled orchid biomass, which again, amazing for fine lines and wrinkles. So it depends on what your concerns were, but they were all going to be effective for all types of skin at different times. So it was just creating something that wasn't convoluting the skincare routine. You don't need to have 13 different steps and 11 different products. You just needed one. You just need to have clean skin. And then you just needed one product that did 15 different things.
Melanie, what's your day and your night routine in terms of beauty?
So I like to keep it pretty simple. I have multifunctioning products that I use. So I wash my face with a mild cleanser for sensitive skin, one that is infused with kombucha and Japanese green tea. So it's super, super softening. And I will send this to you guys for sure. So daily I cleanse with this. Once a week, or if I can remember, I use a clay scrub to remove other toxins and exfoliate my skin. And again, that's like Canadian based product, which is pretty amazing to use Canadian resources. And people around the world love Canadian glacial clay. And it's incredible for your skin. And it's infused with vitamins. And then I use a serum that's infused with vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, and once in a while I'll use a glycolic peel. So it's cleanse and serum. I have not used moisturizer per se in over 15 years since I developed this serum because my skin is always hydrated. I use SPF when needed, and I cover up from the sun. I've had sunspots before in the past, and they pop up. No rhyme or reason. So, like I said, simple, mild cleanser and a serum, and protect during the day, and keep it simple at night.
So, Melanie, you were just mentioning that you really go for the streamlined routine, which I love. I mean, that's what I love to do. But have you changed that much as you got older? Did you have like more like a longer routine when you were younger? What's kind of changed as you've aged and your skin has aged?
I think I went through a period where I was definitely trying a lot of different things. And when I really thought about why I was trying this and trying that, it was really the influence from media. Try this, do this. And then when I really analyzed the role that these specific products were playing in not only in my life and my practices, but also what was I really benefiting from? I wasn't. My pocketbook was thinner from spending so much money on these expensive products, and the results that I was getting were just nominal. And I didn't need an expensive cream. I just maybe needed a cream. And then once you discover the world of serums and biofilms, you know that you don't need to put too many layers of moisturizer on your skin because it becomes an attractant for dirt and environmental pollutants at the same time. So it definitely evolved because you mature, you become more confident, and you know what works for your skin.
You're not believing the hype.
Yeah,
basically.
don't believe the hype.
You know what works.
Yeah, especially when we were working in the industry where it was in your face all day, every day. It's like you sit in front of a makeup artist that has 1,000
We'd have everything there.
products. And I always grew up like a sporty girl, so less was more for me. Like I really just didn't like the process of spending so much time to do certain things. I never took more than 15 minutes to get ready, out of the shower and put a cream on and out the door. It was just kind of, it was my pet peeve. And I became super annoyed after so many years having to sit in the hair and makeup chair for 2-3 hours at a time. I think that probably had an effect too, where you want to simplify things. And I wanted to get out the door. I wanted to get onto the volleyball court. I wanted to get out and hit the pavement and run. So I think that probably informed my need for, fast processing and out of the washroom in the morning.
Just going on from there, what is the biggest advice you give to women as they're aging about what to do with their skin?
just stop caring so much about what people think about how you look. Because when you feel amazing inside, you look amazing. When you're in a great state of mind, you surround yourself with people who feed into that. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest benefit that you could have for your skin, is because you're going to glow from within. You're going to love yourself more, and that creates hormones that are going to be evident in your skin eventually. Does that,
Excellent.
or am I avoiding the question?
No.
I actually think, and I can feel that, you get to a point as you get sort of, again, into your 50s, into your 60s, and everybody talks about this. So it's like, you know what? I just don't care what you think of me. I'm good. I feel good. And you sort of I'll do me, you do you, right? And it's so true, right? As soon as you give off that vibe where it's like, I'm good.
When I first met Lana was a superstar, but she didn't give two shits about who you were. She was a fun girl, open, confident, and we hit it off. Whereas I've worked with a ton of other supermodels that are only half as beautiful as Lana because they didn't have the personality and they weren't caring. They were just,
thanks.
You know what? I just say, for women, doesn't matter what age you are right now, you need to just drop the rocks. Drop all the rocks that you're carrying that are burdening you down and holding you back. Drop them, feel beautiful, and feel beautiful for the knowledge that you have. And you know what? You're a spectacular specimen because you're a woman.
Amen.
All right. That was an amazing conversation. I'm so glad that Melani came on and talked to us. In terms of takeaways, Lana, what did you take from that? What are your big ones?
You know what? I really found it interesting what she was saying about simplify, that you don't need 1,000 things.
Yeah. And drop the rocks, right? This
I love when she said that.
Women are carrying around this weight. We carry around this weight. And especially as we get into middle age, right? As we get into our 50s and 60s, we've been so programmed to think, oh, it's all over when she hit 50, right? And it's this idea of like, just drop that, let it go. That's not true.
So thank you guys for joining us on Where We're At.
Where We're At.